engineering projects?
Yeah. Here it is, boss. Clean as a whistle. You know where I was then? Just now, I mean. Back in Montana. With you and Pop, where I shot my first buck.
Yeah, that was a nice trip. A good job on the gun, Doug. Thanks.
I was 12 years old then. It was just a year before Pop was killed.
Well, maybe next year when school's out, if you still want a crew for me, we can take the boat and get some money in down Mazatlan.
And that'd be the greatest.
Well, in the meantime, you can get a buck or 2 or 3 right here this afternoon. When are you going to help me paint my boat?
I was going to ask you, did you see the coconut cream pie Mom left for you on the sink? She made it this morning.
I know your brother spoils me, but that isn't what you started to ask me.
Well, there's this friend of mine, Tony Baroda. He was my buddy in school before he graduated. Now he owns a fishing boat. And then there's this doll, Penny Lawler. They're getting married, man, this afternoon. Over where Ramona did it, in Old Town.
Well, I understand your deep feeling for your buddy and for this doll, but what's that got to do with painting a boat?
I'm supposed to be best man. I ought to be there, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I think you ought to. Take off.
First, I'll stick around, take care of the financial arrangements. Listen, I put the car right out in front. Shove off, chums. Have fun. With Mom and me for a while. Neither one of them had any family.
That's one of the things that drew us together in the first place.
I thought it might help her, Dan, if you'd talk to her. She doesn't think the police are doing anything.
Oh, they are, Mrs. Baroda. I was across the bay this morning. They're working around the clock on it.
I just want him caught. That's all.
Well, anything I uncovered, the police would find.
But what are they doing?
A crime of this kind falls into one of 3 general categories. 1, the person's a maniac, a sniper that doesn't even know his victim, just wants to kill a happy person. A stray bullet, an accident, falls under the same heading.
Yeah, someone could have been cleaning a rifle or shooting at something blocks away.
A 2nd category, an enemy of Tony's or yours. A 3rd, who stands to profit by Tony's death? Believe me, the police are going to investigate each one of these categories.
What if you had a little head start? Like something she didn't tell the police?
Why would you hold something back from the police and then tell it to me?
Because I didn't want to involve or accuse someone I know in my heart couldn't have done it.
When she and Tony were coming out of the chapel, she thought she recognized a car down the street. Just a flash.
It could have been Johnny's car.
Johnny Breck, Tony's partner in the fishing boat.
I know I've got to tell the police. I know that. Only...
Well, I told her maybe you'd talk to Johnny first, and then tell the police what you think. It'd make her feel better.
Well, the police don't care what I think. They want to know. Give me a couple of hours and call them.
I'll take Penny on home, and then come back and ride over to the harbor with you and point out Johnny's boat. There it is, boss, the Bonita.
Doc, my boy, how are you?
Hi, Fishy.
Say, if you want to go fishing, dead bait's no good. Now, if you want to snag yourself some...
This isn't what I wanted to talk to you about.
If you're not a cop and you're not a lawyer, that just makes you a friend of Penny's. Why didn't she come to me?
Why aren't you the first man the police picked up?
I was out in the boat, thinking about things. They'll be here. Penny will get over this. After a decent time, I'm going after her.
Yeah, you show that kind of jealousy, the police may have other plans for you.
She knows I didn't kill Tony. The only fight we ever had was when they told me I was out of the running. She was going to marry Tony. I told him I wouldn't even come to the wedding. Why'd she send you?
She wants you to tell me that you didn't shoot her husband.
You aren't the one I have to convince, man.
You better practice on me.
Why now?
She says she saw your car outside the wedding chapel.
It wasn't mine.
Well, she ought to know your car. She thought it was yours.
She thought. But she wasn't sure. At least she was looking for me at the wedding. You know something, Adams? I don't think I can prove I didn't make Penny a widow. I was so shook up I just drove around town thinking that now they're saying I do. Now he's putting the ring on her finger. Now they're married.
And now she's a widow.
I was clear across town, and I can't prove it at all. I had a good motive, too. Tony and I went into this fishing boat on a partnership with a right of survival clause in the deal. It's my fishing boat as of the minute he got himself killed.
You own a rifle?
Now you're going to hear the best part. When I was out this morning, I took a shot at a shark alongside the boat. This shark hit the boat so hard I dropped the rifle over the side.
You're not really going to go to the police with that kind of a story.
I'm going to tell them the truth. And that's the truth. It wasn't the rifle that killed Tony.
Well, they're picking him up. Want to ride back to Coronado with me?
No, I think I'll hitch a ride over to shelter. Get some painting done on your boat. What'd Johnny say?
That Johnny's a very tough baby.
He's no killer.
He felt a lot worse about Tony getting married than he felt about Tony getting killed.
Why don't you want to tell me what he said?
By the time it'd take me to tell you, you can get a lot of painting done. You'll read what Johnny said in the paper.
Fishy Smith said he didn't do it. The old man over there. Waterfront character. I've known him since I was around 10 years old. He still talks to me as if I'm 10.
How does he know Johnny didn't do it? You got any proof, anything definite?
No, he just knows. Like Penny knows. Some things you just know.
I'll see you around.
Okay, boss. You know what's wrong with your son?
Yeah, it's loud. Well, I'm more concerned with the living.
Well, yeah. A speed error, 2/10 on the tape at 7.5.
I know what happened to my boat.
I got the sanding done, and I coated a spar on the rails yesterday. Had to dry, so I thought I'd take a whack at your hi-fi for you this morning.
This morning is right.
Up late? I was looking for you last night.
Lieutenant Dyer wanted me to sit in while he was investigating his Johnny Breck.
Yeah, those headlines.
It didn't change the story any.
I don't get it. You read that story, and it's like the character was trying to crawl into the gas chamber instead of out. A shark knocked the rifle out of my hand. Boy, that's a wowzer.
Well, the wilder the story is, the more liable the jury is to believe it. Logical criminals think up logical stories. Maybe this guy's brighter than that.
You think he did it? He didn't. That's what bugged me. Not what was in the story, but what was left out.
All right, Junior. You bugged me.
He didn't do it. He can prove he didn't do it. He didn't mention it to the police. He's got an alibi, and he didn't mention it. That's why I was looking for you last night. I talked to the old man, Fishy Smith, some more. He'll swear that Johnny Breck was on the boat at the time Tony was killed. I don't get it. It's like Johnny wanted to be arrested.
He's got to get dressed.
Does this make some kind of sense to you? A guy talking himself into the big house when he's got an alibi?
Does Johnny know he's got that alibi?
Sure. Old Fishy Smith said they talked about it.
Lieutenant Dyer in homicide. Jerry, Dan Adams. Look Looks like he's going to make fools out of both of us. Yeah, well, just let him out of that jail. Turn him loose. No arraignment, no court proceedings, no nothing. Like, if you want to protect yourself, just let the charges stand and release him on his own recognizance. Will you stop bellowing and listen? He has an alibi, only he didn't mention it. You run him into court now and you'll lose him. Double jeopardy. When he brings that alibi into court, you can't try him again for Baroda's death. I don't have to spell that out for you. Just get him out of that jail, and then you'll have him sooner or later if he's guilty. Hey, did a fine job, Doug.
I'm confused. What'd I do?
Well, you talked to an old man that I should have talked to.
But you still sound like you think Johnny's guilty, even though the old man will swear he was on the boat.
Well, I've had little experience with alibis. Where can I find this Fishy Smith?
Well, if you don't see him or smell him, ask anybody on the waterfront. No, I'll come along.
Now, I've got another job for you. You just make sure Penny stays put at your house as long as Johnny's on the loose again.
You really think he's a dangerous character, don't you? Okay, I'll guard the body.
And put my hi-fi set back together.
Okay, boss. You scared me.
I rang the doorbell.
I guess I didn't hear it. What's the matter?
Mr. Adams,
We just left.
I wanted to see him. I want to tell him or the police I'm ready to swear it was Johnny's car I saw.
But you said you weren't sure.
I'm sure now.
You read those newspaper statements.
This part about his driving around hating Tony, making it sound like I was his girl and Tony had taken me away from him. I never was Johnny's girl.
It's a crazy story. Nobody that knows you would think anything except Johnny was crazy jealous.
And I tried to protect him. I felt sorry for him. Well, now I want to say that I am sure it was his car and he killed Tony. I am sure.
You can't swear to that, Penny. It wasn't his car. He's got an alibi.
It wasn't in the newspaper.
It will be just as soon as they let him go.
They couldn't do that.
They're going to for the time being. Dan and the priest, neither one of them believe the alibi. But I do. I was the one that dug it up.
But you were at the wedding.
I talked to an old man, Fishy Smith, down at the waterfront yesterday. He's ready to swear that Johnny was on the boat when Tony was killed.
I want to go home. Take me home, Doug. They'll never find whoever did it.
Dan wants you to stay put at our house.
All right. But let me go home for a little while. I have to get some clothes and things. Please don't argue.
Okay, but I stay close by. Come on. I'll get Mom's car. Well, here we are. I don't see how you can stand to come back into this part of town.
Why not? This is where Tony wanted to live. We fixed up the house together. He asked me to marry him here. And I want to be here. Close. Please, would you mind if I went in by myself?
Didn't know where old Fishy Smith lived, or if he had any home other than the dock. But they knew one thing. If you waited long enough, the old man would be there. They hadn't seen Johnny Breck either, but they said Johnny might be sleeping on his boat or working on the engine.
Don't let him out!
You two got a boat, and a house, and a bank account.
He knows. He knows about us, Johnny. He knows.
You've also gotten me.
This ain't the time or the place.
He knows. He saw us.
I know he knows, but he'll never tell. We've got to keep him alive till we get him on the boat. Then we can push him over the side. Everything about this is going wrong. Why did you bring him here?
Going wrong. Who started it going wrong? You don't know the half of it. Why do you think they let you out of jail? You're on your own. I'm out of it.
Oh, no. Not till we get rid of him, you're not out of it.
I'm scared.
All right, let's talk without the hysterics. Why did they let me out of jail?
That old man, Fishy Smith, didn't wait. He started blabbing about your alibi. Why did you have to pick on a crazy old man like that?
People believe him. Wait a minute. Keep the yap shut a minute. The alibi's early. It won't give me that lifetime protection I planned on, the double jeopardy bit. But there's still nothing wrong with it.
I have a feeling everything's going to be wrong. Now we'll need an alibi for this. Then we'll need an alibi for the old man when it happens to him.
Maybe I'll give him what I planned on. And it won't have to happen to him.
Half of that boat belongs to me.
Us, honey. The kid understood. The bank account, the house, the boat. We're set. Let the old man think he owns a piece of the boat for a while.
No, it won't work. It started not to work when you were in a hurry. You didn't have to get rid of Tony that way. You didn't have to do it so soon.
No, I could have waited till after the honeymoon.
Don't talk like that. You know I couldn't love anybody but you.
It started going wrong when you didn't yell to the cops sooner. About seeing my car.
You said to wait till you were on your boat, so it'd look like you were running away when they came to pick you up. Then Doug got me involved with this Dan Adams. Adams is no fool. He went to your double jeopardy gimmick like a homing pigeon.
The kid's bleeding a lot. Go get the car. Be sure there's nobody around. I gotta stop it.
Oh, Mary? It's Dan. Can I speak to Doug, please? Where? Listen, Penny at the house with you? At her house? No, nothing's wrong. I'll see you gets home in time for dinner. Right. still alive. I told one of the fishermen to get an ambulance and a doctor. The old man in the water was Fishy Smith. He was conscious long enough to explain that he'd alibied Johnny Breck only because he'd been promised a half interest in the boat. They never knew he was being involved in a murder, that when he decided to tell the truth, he'd been slugged and pushed into the water. The big surprise was who had done the pushing.
Mr. Adams, what happened? Who was that they took away in the ambulance?
That's an old man. He fell off the dock.
Dead?
Have you seen Doug?
I left him here to talk to somebody. He didn't say who while I went back home and picked up a few things. I was supposed to meet him here.
He was supposed to be with you. I asked him to keep an eye on you.
It's too bad about that old man.
Where's Johnny Breck?
Johnny? I haven't seen Johnny.
Somebody paging me?
Hello, Johnny. Have you seen Doug? I was supposed to meet him here.
Hello, Adams. Why would I see Doug? You think he might be visiting me on my boat? We were not that close.
Well, it's not your boat anymore, Johnny.
Since when?
About 5 minutes ago when they fished your alibi out of the bay, dead.
What are you talking about?
Fishy Smith. I'm surprised you missed the excitement. He lived long enough to talk a little bit. She thought she found a new way out. A way to get rid of you and wind up with everything, boat and all. She pushed him.
Johnny, no! Johnny, no!
Stop her!
Hello, boss.
If you're going to work for me, you have to quit lying down the job.
Funny thing happened to me on the way to the waterfront.